Marching on together, marching on together, marching on together, fans are called the BOLIYAN. Marching on together, fans are called the BOLIYAN. Allez. Hello and welcome to the Loco Leeds football channel with my official Facebook group partner Leeds Plus. It's Jinder Jade and I bring to you another episode. I think it's episode 14, the fan view, and it's Leeds versus Liverpool. On screen you can see my very special guest who's taken some time out and he's going to share some insights about Liverpool. He's a specialist of sporting this wonderful, massive club, Liverpool.
Yes.
At LFC Red Forever Fozi. Welcome to the fan view. How you doing, mate?
Thanks for having me, first of all, mate. I'm grateful that you got me on here, obviously, and it's one of those things we had to do a collab in it. So yeah, I'm all good, bro.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. And like I said, it's the fan view. We're going to just have an easy chat, a little bit talk about Jurgen Klopp's men. Seeing that it's a big game on Sunday. We're actually on this international break. Yeah. I and other Leeds fans on my channel, we're not big fans of the international break. For a long time, we didn't have any England players in the setup. Yeah. We have got Calvin Phillips and we've got Patrick Bamford. So we are excited about the England games. But you guys have had many players in the England setup over many years. I mean, just quickly, how do you feel Jordan Henderson's got on and Trent Alexander-Arnold played in centre mid? What are your thoughts on him when he played for England on Sunday?
Listen, with Trent, you can see he can play anywhere. In the youth level, he started as a midfielder anyway, so he knows how to play that position. And a lot of people are asking him to play in that position because of his creativity of the game. He's got IQ of a footballer, if you guys can all see. Yes, his defensive side can be suspect when he plays right back, but it depends who's the centre back at that time as well. When he plays with Gomez, Matip, and Van Dijk, etc., those kind of defenders. We don't concede a lot of goals. That's why last season he was exposed because we had Henderson and Fabinho at the back. Then you're gonna get a lot of problems, aren't you? If you're on defence. But the other day when he played for England in midfield, it's not my favourite position. I prefer him to play as a right back. That's where his position is. I don't want him to go further than that unless we're desperate in a game and we have to push him forward. That's the only time I want to see him play as a midfielder. As for Henderson, he should be starting more games at his age, to be fair, mate. His experience. Yes, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice are doing an outstanding job in front of that defence, but he's different to them. He brings the leadership and he brings, going forward with the ball, and it shows he's a winner. He's a born winner at Liverpool. I mean, he's won every major trophy, obviously not domestics like FA Cup and League Cup, but he's won everything outside that with a higher level: Champions League, FIFA World Cup, Super Cup, and the Premier League. So if a guy is winning that much trophies and you haven't got that many winners in the pitch, it's like disrespectful in my opinion. But listen, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice have done an outstanding job. They made it to the Euro final, so I'm not going to say much about that, to be fair.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head with Henderson. He's a good player. And also, what you've said about Phillips and Rice, they've been on top of their games as well. So, listen, that's a little bit about England. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about Alexander. We've done that. Let's talk about the nitty gritty. The massive game at Elland Road, Leeds United versus Liverpool. Last season, we had a fantastic game with you guys at Anfield, which you guys beat us 4-3. What end-to-end football, attacking. It was mono being a mono, proper, just going for it. Two good teams went for it. Managers got a lot of respect for each other. Then we faced you guys in April when I think the backdrop of that particular game was when you guys were about to leave the Premier League and go to Europe. And we will never see Liverpool ever again, So, but that was a game that we managed a point out of that. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on this particular fixture? I mean, are you looking forward to this? I mean, what's your feelings about it?
I always used to look forward to Leeds games back in the day, especially in the 90s in the Premier League. It was an outstanding game. So I remember when Viduka scored, I think 4 goals against us, and and Patrick Berger done his leg in because he turned him. You know what I mean? I remember those things. You know, I go way back with Leeds, and these games have always been special in the past as well. As for the Super League, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that our owners, you know, like Liverpool. I grew up Liverpool being the standard. You probably grew up around the same time as me. We used to be setting the standards, like following the football league and the way it was. Nowadays, unfortunately, we've got American owners and foreign owners coming into the Premier League. No disrespect, I'm for it myself, obviously, as you can see. But I'm from here. At the end of the day, I follow the tradition of the Premier League, the tradition of the English football, and. They tried to take a different direction with the Super League, and not many people agreed with it. I didn't agree with it, but I was willing to hear what was going on. You know what I mean? But you got to understand, there's a lot. You can't put Tottenham in the top 6 team, and you can't put likes of Leeds, and other teams below, at the same level in that actually in the top 6 as well. So that's a bit disrespectful in that way. I don't know. Listen, I'm not here to carry on about the Super League. It's something that's already been said. It's gone. Hopefully, it will never come back again because it's completely wrong. Let's be honest. The disrespect to other teams should never happen. No relegation and all that stuff. And the worst part of it, when that came out, it was just before our game. So all of our players and manager and all that stuff, their full focus wasn't even on the game because that was behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And you want to be having a full conversation, full concentration on the game you're playing at. You don't want to hear anything else after before that. And the game finished 1-1. Obviously, we had our chances, we couldn't finish it off, but it was fair. It was a fair result, 1-1. And the game before that was 4-3. It was an outstanding game. Leeds only have a one-way playing of football, and I enjoyed that. I'd rather have a team that actually plays one way, or they have different dimensions obviously in the game, but they play one way of they have an identity. You know what I mean? That's why teams like Arsenal and big teams like that have lost their direction, because they want their own way. Different way from what they used to, and now they're struggling in the bottom of the league. That's what I'm saying. But with Leeds, with your Bielsa, with your Rafinhas, with your Bamfords, with all these players you got in the field, Calvin Phillips and all that, you have a certain way of playing. I enjoy it. I'd rather have a team that's not deep line defending, boring the heck out of me, than Then I prefer a team that's attacking throughout the game. So you guys are outstanding in that. That's what I'm expecting in this game anyway. I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, thank you for your sentiments there, Fozi. You said some really good words, and you said some top words about the European Super League as well. A lot of Liverpool fans have echoed the same sentiments as yourself. And like you said, you talked about identity, teams who play with identity. Liverpool are one of them. Obviously you were defending champions last season, but then you had that horrendous injury to Van Dijk, and your season sort of went to pot, maybe with a lot of off-field stuff, because I know about Jurgen Klopp's parents, one of his parents passing away.
His mum passed away.
Yeah, and Alisson as well. So all these emotional factors did sort of lead up into Liverpool's psyche, maybe in defending the title. So all these things did have a knock-on effect, and it's an unprecedented season last season. The Elland Road fans are back this time around, and I think your club, as well as our club, we thrive on a packed home ground. Anfield is ferocious when it's alive, when you got 55,000 people in there. Same with Elland Road, it's a cauldron of fire. So that's going to be a different aspect into this particular game. And like you said, Leeds and Liverpool, we've had some ding-dongs over the years, and it's a fixture that you always look forward to. Yeah. And it leads me on to ask you, now I'm going to ask you some really predictable things, but these are things that I have to ask you. You mentioned the likes of Bamford, Calvin Phillips. I mean, they are our strengths. Obviously, Rafinha, you know about it. He's been linked with you in the summer. But I want to know your key players. I know it's a given. I know what you're going to say, but still.
It's the basics, mate. Obviously, defensive side, Van Dijk is the best defender. Listen, I remember Jockey. You remember Jockey Hansen?
Yes.
Everybody, he was an outstanding defender. A lot of people still say Jockey is better, but I've never seen a defender like this for like perfect at everything: pace, power, passing from the back, scoring from set pieces. People don't even know he could actually take a free kick. If you watch him back at Celtic, he used to be the free kick taker for Celtic. He used to like whip it into the top corners. That's how good this defender is. To me, like when he retires, I think he's probably going to be the greatest defender at Liverpool. I know like everybody's going to have a go at me about that stuff, but I watched Jockey. Jockey had certain strength, but not like Van Dijk. Van Dijk has got it all. I've never. How many defenders in world football can compete with Ronaldo and Messi for Ballon d'Or? Footballers in general, forget about defenders. Footballers in general, you know what I mean. So that shows how powerful that guy is. Obviously, the goalkeeper Alisson has to play. He's an important part of our defensive side, and he plays the ball from the back as well. Since they come to the club, that's the dimension we needed, mate. We haven't looked back unless if you talk about last season. Last season it was a big issue because we had injuries throughout the team. But people forget we was top of the league until the new year. We was actually top of the league until we started playing Henderson and Fabinho at the back. That's when we lost our track in the league. We was actually top of the league from the start of the season all the way to the new year, and then everybody else caught us up. Look at the teams we lost points to: West Brom, Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle. If we got points from these teams and won our 6 defeats at home, we would be champions. We would have been sitting on champions. And we would have won all those games if those guys were there. Majority of those games anyway, if those guys were there in the first place.
Yeah.
And then
but
you
again,
got
like
obviously
I said, winning the league and defending the league is always difficult.
it's tough.
So it's
You
always
remember
tough.
from 92. You remember from 92. You know what I mean? The same with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I understand your predicament, and but you look, they are exceptional players. You have got some wonderful players at your disposal, and Virgil van Dijk and Alisson are the linchpins of what your defense is made out of. So I take that on board. But then going in further afield, I mean, have you bought anybody this summer?
Nope. Unfortunately, we bought one defender, Konate, who's going to be probably sitting on the bench for the next 4 months just to understand how we play. Obviously, we've got the same amount, same players as last season. We've got Fabinho, we've got Henderson and Thiago. That's our first teamers, in my opinion. I can't see any further than that. Obviously, we'll put a Harvey Elliott on there, learning the experience, and he's gonna be a footballer. When you watch a footballer, Jinder, when you see one how good he's gonna be in the future. He's a proper footballer, that kid, and he's got an IQ of an intelligent player. You don't say many about British-born players like that, but you can see when he passes the through ball, the finesse, everything, the bravado. Everything about him. It shows he's a proper footballer, and in the future looks bright for him. But I can see in this game, obviously, Thiago coming back in and probably Fabinho and Henderson playing in that midfield.
Yeah. See, another thing that I wanted to speak to you about, and this is regarding Leeds as well, because you've got all these problems with Brazil. You've got a couple of Brazilian players. We've obviously got Rafinha, and so I don't know whether they're going to sanction a ban for the lads. So I don't know how that will factor in to Sunday's game. If it does, it's going to have major impact for both clubs. We don't want Rafinha to be missing for the next three games or 4 games. And you guys likewise with Alisson and is it Thiago, the Brazilian?
Alisson, Fabinho, and Firmino. Thiago is Brazilian heritage. As you know, his dad he played in the World Cup '94, but he plays for Spain. He plays for Spain now.
Okay. So there you go. So it's there's 3 players that there's potentially that might like I said, with the authorities, you just don't know which way they can go. But seeing that you've got everybody at your disposal, can you quickly give me your predicted 11 then, please, buddy?
I can see, obviously, Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold's right back. You got Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson is back in defence now. I can't see them turning back from Robertson after he played against Chelsea. He shouldn't have played, but he played, and now he's going to be probably playing regular because he's fit. And you're going to have Fabinho in the middle. Obviously, I said him, Henderson, and Thiago. I don't see. Probably they're going to rest young Harvey Elliott now. Get the experienced players in there because Leeds away is a tough game, mate. It's a tough game, and then you're gonna get the usual front three apart from Firmino. You got Jota now, so you're gonna get Salah, Jota, and Mane up front. That's what I see my 11 as.
So you're going to be playing 3 up front. It's 4-3-3, is it?
4-3-3, mate. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I mean that's a solid team, isn't it? And everybody's at full fitness. It is shaky. It is scary. But let's hope for it. It's a good game. And I'm just going to ask you quickly as well. I know it's only 3 games played, but your team's current form, self-explanatory, isn't it? You've won all 3, haven't you?
No, we won 2 and drew 1. Chelsea, the last game, we drew 1-1.
There you go. My apologies. So your last game you drew against Chelsea, but like I said, it's looking good though so far. We on the other hand are still in search for our first victory. So it's a bit tricky this year. I mean, I don't see us having second season syndrome like Sheffield United because it's we've got Marcelo Bielsa. It's not Chris Wilder.
He's a brilliant manager.
No, I mean it's Bielsa's a winner, and I just don't see that happening. What I just think it's a bit of a slower start because a lot of the teams are still adjusting to fans coming into the stadium. There's this international break. It was so soon.
Unnecessary.
The Euros have just finished. I'm in favour for something like maybe a 6-7 game, maybe 10 games of the Premier League, and then bring those international fixtures in. You need 10 games to suss each other out. You need that kind of because after a break like this was a proper pre-season break, wasn't it? So we the boys went off in May. And then they've not come back for the ones who weren't on international duty. So and for you guys, I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got a lot of Liverpool fans, Liverpool friends who are fans of Liverpool, and you guys needed this break because for about 4 seasons it's been constant go. There's been hardly any breaks for the likes of Salah and people like that because they've been involved in international duty and this, that, the other. There's been a lot like that with yourselves, and then you've had a lot of success in the last couple of years, haven't you?
Yeah, you're 100% right, Jinder. I'm glad, from experienced fans, I like to talk to experienced fans because that's where I come from. I mean, people have seen it, done it in the past as well. But in today's terms, a lot of these young fans, they say we're making excuses and that. But like you said, people burn out. When you're winning on a continuous basis, non-stop, don't forget, we've got the same personnel as 4 seasons ago. We don't really change the squad that much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So people need to understand these players are burnt out. They want for African nations. From African nations, they go to World Cup. To World Cup, they go to Euros. To Euros, they go to Champions League. They go to Premier League. Then it's just the same cycle around and again and again. And there's no rest. If we had the squad, I believe we could probably sit on 3, probably 2 or 3, obviously Champions Leagues by now, and probably two Premier Leagues as well. But it doesn't work out that way sometimes, and everybody say we make excuses. Do you think like Liverpool make excuses in this, Jinder? Like when we're saying to people the players are burned out, they can't do it anymore. Even when you look at Mane now, that's not the Mane everybody knows. He can't even. The other day against Chelsea, he was against James. 50 times he tried to go past him. He couldn't get past him once. That's how bad he was.
I think what you have to do is you pay the price for success. That's the thing. I would love to be in that situation. What you're in. It's not. Sometimes football is a game of winning and losing, obviously, but there's also sorts of things that take place in the background. It's good to have a settled squad. It's good to have a great boardroom, whatever it is, and it's good to have that. I mean, Leeds, if we flip it over to our club, Bielsa, it's his 4th year here with us, and we've had some stability. This is the first time we've had some stability like this since I would go back to the 90s. When we had Howard Wilkinson. When
Yeah, I
we were,
remember that. Yeah,
so that you can't beat stability. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like things to
yeah,
be
me too.
boring, simple. I don't want my team club to come in the news too much, But
Hmm.
we're in that kind of clickbait world where you have to put funny slogans on so people watch your
Yeah,
stuff, and you come out with ridiculous comments on the radio station,
yeah,
like Talk Sport or something like that, and
yeah.
they that's what it is. I mean, so many times I've heard that. Oh, I mean, how many times I heard last season that Jurgen Klopp needed the sack,
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
his run. Now the thing is, all that hard work that he's done over the last 3 years, you just can't throw that away over over a year. That
It's
was
it's
an
it's like it's
unprecedented
like
year.
it's like you just said, Jinder. Like if it ain't broke, why are you trying to make it complicated? You know what I mean? It doesn't
That's
even make
it.
sense. If you look at us from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s, obviously when Kenny was still there, we had the same formula. Remember, we was like in house. We didn't trust
Yeah.
people from the outside. It's like we was
Yes.
promoting from within. We buy players, we put them in the reserves, and then we used to like promote them when the players get old. They take their place eventually. We turned away from that when Graham Souness came on, and then look at us. 30 years later, we're still searching for a league title. You see,
Yeah.
when you try to break that's what can happen to you. A lot of damage can happen to you.
Absolutely. And look, if you flip it over, look at Arsenal. They went for
Hmm.
something different. Arsene
Yeah,
Wenger was working, and now look at them. So
yeah,
it swings and roundabouts, my friend. Sometimes the grass is never greener on the other side.
hmm,
So I'm conscious about the time because I don't like these fan view episodes to go really, really long. And I'm
I understand,
conscious
right?
about your time as well, Fozzie.
That's fine.
Can you give me a predicted score, please?
It depends what the personnel is because of like, what we just discussed. But I can see probably a 2-1 win to Liverpool, mate. I'm just
Okay.
going with my Liverpool hat on.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll be close game,
Hmm.
and I think if we can get a point from you guys, that gives us another building block. I just don't want a battering because sometimes it does happen. As soon as
Yeah,
we play
yeah,
a top six club,
yeah,
a battering is in place. But having said that, last season at home, Leeds done really, really well against the likes of
yeah.
Liverpool, Man City,
Man City, yeah,
etc., etc. But like I said, it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping that it'll be an entertaining game.
yeah,
I, I've got no qualms in that because both managers like to attack, and
hmm.
it should be if it's an
It should
open
be.
game, I think that suits Leeds. I like that,
Hmm.
and it'll be interesting to see how your Liverpool players cope with the
Yeah,
intensity of the Ellen Road fan base because I don't
exactly.
think any of your boys have ever heard that yet. But mind you, having said that,
No,
I think maybe in the there was a League Cup that you guys played us
yeah,
2013. You beat us, I think, but it was something like that. But let's see what happens.
yeah.
Well, Fozzie, I'm going to say thank you to you for joining me on this episode of the Fan View. Before you leave us, can you tell my subscribers where they can find you? And subscribers, if you can subscribe to the El Loco Leeds a football channel and also check out LFC Red Forever Fozi's channel as well. So, Fozzie, the stage is yours, mate.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you for having me. First of all, mate, it's a great channel, mate. I would
You're
love to
very
be back
welcome.
on. I love to be
No
back on
worries.
one day as well. Yes, people, you can find me at LFC Red Forever channel. That's it's gonna be hopefully mine and Lasers. We're gonna merge in one soon. Please find us on UFT as well. UFT Talk is another channel that's for every fan of football. It's not just like Liverpool based. It's Leeds, Man United. It doesn't matter who it is. You can find us on there as well. So please go and subscribe to those channels. Much appreciated for Jinder for having me on here as well. Thank you very much, mate. And
No
please
worries,
subscribe to
mate.
his channel. He's a great channel and he's a great guy as well.
No, God bless you, mate. Well,
Thank
listen,
you.
Fozzie, thank you for joining me. All the best for the game.
No,
Let's see, make the best team win, kind of thing.
that's the best thing.
So, guys, that's Fozzie. That's LFC Red Forever Fozzie, and that's your lot. Hopefully, you'll see some plenty more content. I'm going to be doing the watch along for the England game, so keep tuned on the channel. And also, I'm going to do my own little preview that I do for Leeds United as well against Liverpool. But guys, I'm going to leave the video just there. Make sure you hit a like, share it out, and thank you for watching.